In this video, I'll go over the applications that I use as of 2025. I will only go over the applications that I actually use. So that means that I'm not going to be recommending anything that I don't believe in. On the left-hand side, you can see the terminal application that is Ghostty. I have used many other terminal emulators. Started with iTerm, jumped to Alacrity, then moved to Kitty, then to Western, and now I ended up in Ghostty. I spend most of my day in the terminal, so this is my favorite application, and it's definitely the one that I use the most. I have several videos about Ghostty. If you want to learn how to set it up, if you want to learn all the details about it, I would recommend you to go and check this video out. But in the video, you're going to notice that I use Ghostty, so you're going to understand a little bit more on how I use it. Notice on the right-hand side, the next item that I have here on the list, I have Kitty as well. It's another terminal emulator. And notice on the very top left corner of the screen, here you can see the application that I'm using. In this case, notice that this is Kitty. So I have two terminals running. On the left side, I have Ghostty, and here on the right-hand side, I have Kitty. Just gonna mark this as done. The next application that I have on the list, it's not like a standalone app, but it's an app that is worth mentioning. This file that you see here, that's neovim. It allows me to do all kinds of stuff with files. So for example, I can even view images. Let me scroll down a little bit more. Notice how fast the images load, and I can even load images from a URL as the one shown here. If you're new to the channel and you don't know anything about neovim, I have a lot of videos about it. Just search in my channel neovim, you'll be able to find a lot of them. All right, so moving on to the next item on the list. Notice here on the right-hand side, I have skitty-notes. This is technically not an application because it's just Kitty, and I'm running a customized version of my neovim configuration in there. So this is where I keep track of the things that I have to do on the day, my to-do. This is where I keep track of the stuff that I need to do in videos, live streams, reminders, video ideas, a lot of different stuff. I cannot cover this in detail in this video because it requires a separate video on its own, but I do explain everything in detail about it here. Notice here on the right-hand side that I also have this math calculations option. Let me show you what I mean by this. I'm just going to type an expression here. Let's say that I want to do 1024 divided 2 plus 1024. Here I'm just going to type Alt-3 and notice what happened. It calculated that for me. Notice that I'm going to stay in the same line, right? I'm just going to type something else here, and I'm just going to type another backtick. And let's type something else. 768, for example, divided by 2 plus 768. Here I'm going to type Alt-3. Notice that it calculated that for me as well, and it did it in the same line. I created a video on how to do this. You'll be able to find it here as well. This was released yesterday as a short. It's a 3-minute video. All right, so enough with the terminal applications. Let's move on to standalone applications that you actually install in macOS. Notice on the left that I'm in the terminal, but I'm going to switch to my browser with a key map. Notice that the app occupies the entire screen. What if I want to go to the YouTube app? Notice that I switch to it, and the app as well occupies the entire screen. This is done using a window manager in macOS. It's called yabai, and I use it in stack mode. So stack mode means that it keeps one application on the screen at a time. Notice that if I try to make this application smaller, yabai is just going to default it back to the size that I specified. And notice as well here on the right-hand side, this is the padding section of yabai. It's not covered by the applications. So this is where I put other stuff like my skitty-notes app. Again, yabai is a complex topic. It requires videos on its own. So I have the video here. I have like 2 videos about yabai. So if you want to learn more about it, go and check this out, and I explain everything in detail there. What is karabiner-elements? It's just a keyboard customizer for macOS. This application allows me to switch between applications because I configured some custom key maps. So for example, I type here hyper-AK, notice that it jumps to my browser, hyper-AJ jumps to my terminal, hyper-AY, that takes me to YouTube. If I type the control key here on the left, notice what is going to happen. It's going to send command tab to switch to the previous app. Notice that if I type a single key, which is here, left command, just gonna type it and notice that it sends command C. And if I type here, left alt on the left hand side, it's gonna send command V. Notice that it pasted something there. I'm just going to undo these changes. What else does Karabiner allow me to do? When I type here hyper RY, it brings up this raycast extension that allows me to search for videos. Or if I type hyper RE, it's going to bring up this thing to search for emojis in macOS. It also allows me to switch between my different tmux sessions. So if I type here hyper-tj, takes me to my dot files, hyper-tu takes me to my notes. If I type hyper-en, it is going to show me a list of the devices that I have in my SSH config file. So I can choose one of them. For example, I can type here docker3 and it's gonna SSH into that device. So I can go back to my notes, hyper-tj, that takes me to my dot files, hyper-ej, switches me to the docker3 host. Karabiner is the one that allows me to do this and many other things. Again, if you want to learn more about it, I have a video and it's shown here. The next item that I have here on the right is BetterTouchTool. Notice that I'm going to grab my mouse right now. Here is the magic mouse and I'm going to double click with my fingers. Notice what happened. You get on the screen the crosshair, which I use to take screenshots. This is done with BetterTouchTool. Notice that I have a lot of different keyboard shortcuts here in BetterTouchTool. I usually use them with my tmux sessions. I also execute some scripts when I'm going to start a recording. I have a shortcut that runs some scripts in the background and it does a lot of stuff, including putting me in do not disturb. When I am done recording a video, I just execute another one, which is the one shown here. Video recording stop, this one. That takes me out of D&D. It closes some applications and it does a lot of stuff in the background. But for example, notice here that sometimes I need to restart the Bluetooth. I have this BetterTouchTool actions, disable it, wait 1 second, and then enable the Bluetooth. Sometimes my keyboard stops working, so I just come here and I just click on this BT restart button, and that is going to execute this actions that I have here. And that is just to give you an example. I have many more like these. I also have some BetterTouchTool videos, so just go and check in my channel. Now, BetterTouchTool is a paid application. That's why you see here the S on the right-hand side. And what does the S mean? It means that it's available in Setapp. So if you use Setapp, you will be able to install that application. Let me open Setapp real quick so you can take a look at what it is. And it's just basically like a Netflix of apps. If I come here to my favorite apps, you're going to notice that BetterTouchTool is listed there. If you want to try out Setapp, they have a 7-day free trial. I do have an affiliate link. So if you want to support me, I'm going to leave the link in the video description and you can get Setapp that way. I have been using Setapp for like a year now. I know some people will say that instead of paying for Setapp, I could buy the apps directly, and that is correct. But what I like about it is that it always recommends me new applications that I can test. If I like them, I keep them. If I don't like them, I just uninstall them. So again, remember, if you want to help the channel out, you can try Setapp free for 7 days. And I'm going to leave the link in the video description. The next application shown here on the list is Zen Browser, and that is what you see here on the screen. I switched from Chrome to Zen. Why? Mainly because I wanted something with vertical tabs. I know Brave has an option, Chrome has an extension, but they don't work as well as in Zen. You can get split view. So let's open this one in a new tab. Notice what happens. I have this. I can split them. Notice that I'm going to drag this, going to grab it, drag it here. Notice that I have both of the pages here, right? So that's quite nice. I'm going to click here. Notice that I'm looking at 2 different pages. With the key map, I can hide the sidebar on the left, Control E. That's what I mapped it to. I can bring it back. I can hide it. It's pretty neat. If I want to copy the URL, I just do Alt C and notice that it has been copied to the clipboard. I'm just going to bring the sidebar again. And if I want to unsplit these, I'm just going to click here. Notice that I'm back where I started. I've been using it for a few months and I don't think I'm going back to Chrome, at least for now. The next application that I have here on the list is 1Password, which is my password manager. I started with LastPass, which is the company that I was working for a few years back. Then I moved to Dashlane, but then they increased the prices way too much. And then I switched over to 1Password. And so far, it has been the best password manager that I have found. Pretty good product. And I would highly recommend you to check it out. I do have an affiliate link as well for 1Password. I'm going to leave it in the video description. So if you want to support the channel, just make sure to use that and you can start a 14-day free trial. All right, so the next application that I have on the list is CleanShot X. What do I use this for screenshots? Let me show you how I use it. I'm just going to jump to the screen. I'm just going to run this command. I'm just going to grab my mouse. I'm going to double click on the mouse and I'm going to get the crosshair. I'm just going to select the area that I want to screenshot. Let's say that it's this area. Notice that I get this pop up here on the right. I'm going to double click this. And what if I want to edit the image? I'm going to type the letter R here for the rectangle. Let's say that I want to add this. I want to add some arrows. Just going to type the letter A. I add the arrows, A, and I keep adding more arrows. Let's say that I want to add some text, Apple logo, for example. I want to add other text in here. And I'm just going to type here, computer model, just to give you an idea. And I'm going to do it here as well. What is this? macOS version. And I'm also going to do it down here again. Just click there. It adds that. And I'm just going to type here that. What if I want to add some numbers as well? Look at this. I'm just going to type the letter C. And I'm just going to click here. That is step number 1, step number 2, 3, and 4. All I did was click. What if I want to add a nice border around it? I'm just going to click here. And I can choose a border here. Let's say that I want to go with this one. I don't want the padding to be too big. I don't want the corners to be too rounded. That looks good. This is just an example, right? What if the resolution is too big and I want to make it smaller? I just click here and the image size is shown right now. I want to decrease it to, I don't know, 70% size, resize it, and it still looks great, but it's way smaller. Now I can drag this image. I can copy it. I can click here in done. Now let me go to my browser. What if I want to show the image again? I'm just going to type here, Command Tab. Notice that the image is shown there. I'm just going to click here on Restore. And notice that the image shows here again. What if I want to share this image with someone? I'm just going to click on this Upload to Cleanshot Cloud button. It's going to upload it. Let's click there, uploading right now. Link copied. So I have the link. I can share it with someone and they can view the image. Those are only some of the features that CleanShot provides. Let me show you another one real quick. I'm going to go to CleanShot here at the top, and I'm just going to select this scrolling capture option. I'm going to select the area that I want to screenshot. Let's say that it's this. And I'm just going to click here on Start Capture, Auto Scroll. Just going to let it run for a little while. And I'm going to hit Done here. Notice that I have the image here. Just going to make it smaller. And there you can see the entire image. It's something that I use from time to time. This example does not make any sense, but it's just so that you keep it in mind. Just going to close out of here. Here on the options, you can see that it also has capture text with OCR, can record the screen. And this is another one that I use a lot, capture previous area. So let's say that I take a screenshot of this specific section right here. Now I'm going to switch to another app, my terminal, and I'm going to execute this, which in my case is Hyper 9. So I just come to my keyboard, Hyper 9, and it's going to capture the exact same area that I captured the previous time. These on the right hand side automatically disappear after 30 seconds. That's why I configured them, but I can swipe them away as well. Remember, these are just some of the features that CleanShot offers. It has way many more. Remember that it had an S next to it, so it means that it comes in Setapp. So you can give it a try there. Now let's move on to forklift, which is a finder replacement. Let me switch to it real quick. I have a key map for that. Notice that I'm in forklift here. And what I like about it is that it has 2 panes. I can hide the sidebars really quick. Notice that I showed the one on the left. I can hide it. I can also hide the one on the right. If I hover over an image here, I can see it here on the right side as well. And I mainly like it because of the 2 panes. So I can switch between these 2 panes and I can switch between the tabs on each one of the panes. So that makes it pretty useful if you want to drag stuff between the 2 of them. It also gives you the option, if you like it here, of creating a new folder, creating a new file from this menu. It's not something that I use, but it's something that you have available as well. Again, this application is available in Setapp as well. That's why you see here the S on the right hand side. Now let's move on to paste. I'm just going to bring it up. I have a key map for that, Hyper W. Notice that I can go over the items that I have here in my clipboard. This is just a clipboard manager. So I have all of the things that have been in my clipboard. All of the history is shown here. I can delete items from here relatively easily with just the delete key. Notice that everything is shown here, text, images. The nice thing about this app is that it also syncs with the phone. So if you add stuff to your clipboard on the computer, in theory, you should be able to see those in your phone as well. Both of them, the macOS desktop version and the phone version, come included in Setapp. Before this, I used Raycast because it also has a clipboard history. Notice that it's shown here. But I don't remember exactly the reason why I switched over to paste. I don't have it on top of my mind right now, but that's what I use as of now. Now, what is yoink? Let me switch here to forklift. and I'm just going to copy a file to my clipboard. Notice that I'm just going to type this key on the left-hand side, which is left command. I'm just going to type it, and that is going to copy this image to my clipboard. I have Twitter here. I could click on the icon to upload the image, but I would have to go and search it. It takes too much time. But notice what's going to happen right now. I'm just going to press F5 2 times, and the image that I had in the clipboard shows here in yoink on the right-hand side. So what I can do is just drag the image here, and that's it. I can post it real quick. What if I want to drag images from my browser to my computer? Let's say that I want to grab this first image and I want to have it in my computer. I'm just going to grab the image from here. Notice that yoink automatically shows up without me doing anything. And I'm just going to release that image there. It's going to be in yoink. I can come here to my forklift and I could drag it from yoink to here, or I could drag it somewhere else. You have the option that if you drag the image from here, notice that it's going to remove it from there. But there's also another option. Let me bring that image back up. The last one, this one, and I'm just going to drag it, but I'm just going to leave shift pressed. Notice that I'm dragging the image, but it's going to remain there. Why? Because I pressed shift while I was dragging it. This is just an option. I can clear the image from here, and I'm also going to delete it from here because I don't need it. Remember that the S means that it's in Setapp, so you can give it a try there and just install it, see if you like it or not. Now we have aldente. What is this? It's just in case you want to take care of your battery. If you're using a macOS laptop, you should definitely install this application. I'm just going to show it to you real quick. Notice that my battery is at 79% right now, and it's charging, and it does not pass 80%. And how is that done? With this application, aldente. Let me click on it. Notice that you set the limit for the battery. Let me go to the settings. Notice that it shows me here the battery health, the battery information. This is a new computer. That's why you see 102% here. Notice that it has only had 7 cycles. Shows you the temperature. And if we come here to the settings under charge, notice that it can stop charging even if the application is closed. It stops charging when it's sleeping so that it doesn't go to 100%. It automatically discharges. Notice that it has an automatic calibration mode. The last time it happened was 2 days ago. It charges to 100%. Then it automatically discharges to 15%. Charges back to 100, stays there for an hour, and then it goes back to the limit that you have set, which in my case is 80%. You can customize the appearance here, and that's basically all the relevant settings. Just keep in mind that what you care about the most is the limit is set to 80%. When you install it and first run it, it goes through a wizard and it just detects the best settings for your computer. So if you want your battery to last for a long time, I would highly recommend you to go and get that application. Even if you don't pay for Setapp, I would highly recommend you to get it. Okay, so I'm just going to mark this as done. Now I have raycast here. So what do I use raycast for? If I want to search for videos, I do that here. Hyper-RY. This is just raycast. If I want to search for my bookmarks, I have another carabiner key map. So if I just type it, notice that my bookmarks show up there. I can search for stuff in here. And if I hit enter or in something, it's just going to open it in my browser. What else do I use raycast for? Let me take a look here because I forgot. Here I have my carabiner mappings. Notice that I can perform a search in my files. This is a file search. I can also perform a Google search. If I type here hyper-RK, this brings up the Google search thing. So I can search directly from here without going to the browser. Here's the one that searches my YouTube videos. Apple reminders. I don't use this anymore. I don't use this. I don't use this. I don't use this either. This emoji one is useful, hyper-RE, and I can quickly grab an emoji, copy it and paste it wherever I need it. Raycast has many other features. I do have a video about it, so just go and check it out. I'm just going to mark this as done here. DaVinci Resolve, I don't need to go over this application, but this is what I use to edit videos. There's plenty of videos out there in YouTube that can explain this way better than I can, but I just brought it up because it's one of the applications that I use almost every day. This is another application. It's called Recut. It's a paid application. I use it as well for editing video. Let me bring it up. If I type here hyper-AR, it's going to bring it up. Let me open one of the existing projects. Let me open this one, which is a video that I was working on a few days ago. Just going to open it. And what it does is that it automatically removes silence from the videos. That makes it really fast to edit something. Because if you have edited videos in the past, silences are a big part of the videos. So this tool is really great at removing all of that. So let me mark this one as done. Go and check it out. Remember that it's a paid application, Keycastr. You notice that when I type here, there is this green thing here on the background that shows you the keys that I'm pressing. So that is done with Keycastr. That is the application that I use. It's an open source application. You don't need to pay for it, and it works really well. Back when I'm typing something as well, you can hear the sound of the keys, right? So this is not my keyboard. This is an application that is running in the background. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. Here it is on the menu bar. I'm just going to click on it, and it's just going to show me the different switches that I can select here. The sound that I like is this one. I don't like the other ones too much. But if you want to learn more about klack, I have this video as well. And I go over each one of the different sounds that it offers and all of the different settings. Notice that it's a 22-minute video. All right, so the next item on the list is raindrop, which is the way that I manage my bookmarks. So if I type here hyper-RJ, remember that that is raycast, and I can search through my different bookmarks in here. Let's say that I need to go to Twitter. I just search for it here. It takes me to Twitter on my browser. It's way faster. I don't need to grab my mouse with just a key map. I get to the site that I want really fast. This is the raycast extension, but it comes as well with the standalone application. And it also comes with the browser extension, which is the one that you see here. If I click on this, it allows me to add new bookmarks or basically manage them. What is the benefit of using raindrop? That I don't have to be exporting bookmarks when I switch browsers, right? So I moved to the Zen browser. I didn't have to worry about my bookmarks. If I go to Chrome, I don't have to worry about them as well, because all of them are stored in raindrop. Is it secure? I don't care. They're just bookmarks. I don't have any sensitive information there. All right, so I'm just going to mark this one as done. Before I forget, in case that you want to learn more about raindrop, I have this video and I explain how I use it, how I set it up in detail. The next application is homerow. I mainly use this for scrolling. Notice that I'm in the browser right now and I can scroll here. Notice that I'm going to jump to Discord here. And if I bring up homerow, I can scroll here in Discord. I can type the number 3. I can scroll in this section as well. So it allows you to do many other things, but I mainly use it for scrolling as of now. This application is the one that shows you small yellow labels on the screen, so you can click on stuff with your keyboard. This does not work only with the browser, but it works basically on any macOS application. So again, remember that this homerow application can be used for more than scrolling, but that's what I use it for as of now. The application that I use for clicking on the screen is mouseless. Is the application that you notice that I brought up when I type the right option key on my keyboard. This is mouseless. Let's say that I want to close this screen. I'm just going to type here AT, and I'm going to type the letter P. Notice that it closed it. What if I want to close this other one? Well, would be just way easier if I close it like this. I have a key map, but you get the point. It allows me to click on different stuff. What if I want to open a link in a new tab? I'm just going to bring it up real quick. Just going to type here GO, and I'm just going to leave shift pressed, and I'm going to type the letter M. Notice that it opened this in a new tab. So that's exactly what I wanted. I'm just going to close this. I'm also going to close this other tab as well. If you want to get a comparison between the two, mouseless and also homerow, I have a video in which I compare both of them. So notice that I have this one, homerow versus mouseless. This is just regarding mouseless, some updates that were just released, and this is only regarding homerow. So I have 3 videos about this. Go and check them out, and you're going to learn everything about the tools there. Now we have betterdisplay. If you use an external display on macOS, and if you're not using betterdisplay, I don't know what you're doing with your life. The standard macOS resolutions are dog shit, and if you use a non-Apple monitor, you're just going to suffer. So that's when betterdisplay comes in handy. It's a free app, but it has some paid features as well. But if you get the free one, it's going to work just fine. Let me bring it up real quick. Here it is. Notice that I can specify the resolution, and it allows me to set it up as a high resolution. So that's why you see that my screen looks crystal clear. And this is not an Apple display. This is just an Asus cheap monitor. And what allows me to use it quite well is this application. So if you have resolution issues, if your external display doesn't look that great, go and install this. You're not going to regret it. Well, actually, it's a must. You definitely need to get this application. What else do we have here on the list? I have permute, the next application. Let me jump here to forklift. And I'm just going to switch to this other tab, the cleanshot tab. And let's say that, for example, I want to create a PDF out of all these images that I have here. I'm just going to select them here, all the way here. I'm just going to right click here, and I'm just going to click on open with permute. Just click there. Notice that all of the images are shown here. This is just an old image that I converted to WebP. I'm just gonna clear it from there. And let's say that I wanna convert this to a PDF. I'm just gonna select here PDF, just gonna come here to the settings, stitch together. I'm just going to give it a name. Let me type something here, images, test, YouTube. And now I'm just gonna hit escape here and I'm just going to click on the little play button that you notice there. Just gonna type the letter X here. Notice that it finished the conversion. Let me go back to forklift. Notice that I have a PDF here. I'm just gonna bring this up, AU. I'm just gonna double click it. I'm just gonna type here, JJ is going to open that file. Let me scroll through this file and all of the images are there as part of that PDF. So this is what permute allows you to do. This was just a simple example of one of the things that I do sometimes. Doesn't make much sense, but it allows you to convert stuff between different formats and it works quite well. Again, this application comes in Setapp. That's why you see the S here on the right hand side. Hand mirror, that is the application that you see here on the right hand side in the middle. This is my webcam and I'm using this hand mirror application. There's not much that I need to cover there. It's quite useful. So if you record videos, if you do live streams, it can become quite handy. Again, this application comes in Setapp, so you can go and check it out there. Openin is an application that allows you to open links in different browsers. Let me bring it up real quick. I have it here on my menu bar. And where is it? I think it's this one. Yeah, if I go to settings, you're going to notice that here, openin settings, and under browsers, you can specify different rules. Notice that I have different browsers configured here, and here are the rules. The YouTube links, notice that I have them here. I want them to be opened in the Zen browser. And notice that the rule matches the links that are opened on this YouTube application. Let's take a look at another one. Let me just close this. Let me open this other rule. I'm just gonna click on edit here. Here you see the name of the rule. These domains, I wanna open them in a different browser. Notice that I have all of the domains listed there. If I scroll down, I wanna open those in Brave. So that's what the rules are used for. And anything else that I don't have a rule for, I just have a default rule at the bottom, and that is going to be using Zen, I think. Yeah, Zen as shown here. So basically, as you were able to tell, it allows you to open different links in different browsers. Oh, and remember, openin comes in Setapp as well, so you can give it a try there. This other application, elmedia player, let me bring it up real quick. Elmedia player, here it is. It allows me to play different formats that QuickTime does not allow me to play. That's the only reason that I installed it. Again, it comes with Setapp. That's why you see the S here on the right hand side. Then we have neovide, which is just a GUI interface for neovim. Let me go to my terminal real quick. And let's say that I want to open this file in neovide. I'm just going to type a key map here. Letter F capital N. The difference between neovide and the terminal is that neovide is way faster. Notice that I'm scrolling here. Takes less time and it just feels smoother, to be honest. It is a standalone application. So for example, if I open a Lua file in Finder, it's going to open it in neovide. Let me show that to you real quick. I'm just going to quit out of this. And let me open a Lua file. I'm just going to open this options.lua file. I'm just going to open it in Finder. Notice that here is the file. What happens if I double click on this file? Notice that it opened it in neovide. So I can scroll here and it's just quite nice. Notice that I'm scrolling with my mouse here. Instead of opening it with the macOS default application, it opens it in neovide. If you want to learn more about neovide, I have two videos. This one released 8 months ago and this one released 3 months ago. Go and check them out. I explain everything in detail there. This is a free application and you don't have to pay anything for it. The next one that I have here is PDF search. Let me bring it up. The nice thing about it is that it allows you to scan PDF documents that are not searchable. Notice that if I click on these three icons here, it allows you to index with AutoCR, OCR, text plus image. So let's say that you're working with a really old PDF file that it was created from images, but you need to search for text in that file. This is the application that you're looking for. I would highly recommend you to go and check it out. Remember, the S here means that it's in Setapp, so you can go and find it there. In your face, that's what she said. It's just an application that shows you reminders when a meeting is about to start. Let me bring it up real quick. I'm just gonna go here to the top. It's this icon here. I'm just gonna click on it. Notice that I have this privacy mode enabled right now, so you cannot see the meetings. That's quite nice. Gonna go to settings real quick. Under appearance, I have this show demo alert. Just gonna click on this. And this is the way that an alert looks like. You just configure it and like 1 minute before the meeting, this shows up in your entire screen. So you can click OK, or you can join the meeting directly or snooze it. Let me just close out of here, and let me just close out of here as well. All right, so let me mark this one as done. Remember that that one had the S, so it means that it comes available in Setapp as well. Bartender is another application, is the one that shows up when I bring this menu bar. These 3 dots is Bartender. Outside here, I have the icons that I use the most, but inside here, I have the icons that I rarely need to click on, that I never use. This is useful, especially if you're in a small screen, like a laptop. You don't want to have all of this stuff outside. You just want to have a few, the ones that you really need. It has a lot of different settings and a lot of different ways to configure it. Again, remember that this application comes in Setapp, so you can go and check it out there as well. The next one that I have here on the list is pulltube. Let me bring it up real quick. Again, also comes in Setapp. And notice that it allows you to download videos, and it shows you here from where. From these different places. Works quite well, to be honest. I know there's services that you can use in Google. You can search for pages. I don't want to do that. I just want an app in which I can paste a URL, and it's going to download the video for me, and that it just works. I'm just going to close out of this. Remember, this application also comes in Setapp. What else do we have here? Mission control. I'm going to bring up mission control in macOS. Notice that it shows here. I can close applications from here. This is not something that macOS allows you to do by default. So if I click on this little X, it's going to close this. If I click, for example, on this little X on the PDF search application, it's going to close it. It's going to close here permute as well. It's going to close this other karabiner application. And if I exit out of here, all of those applications were closed. It's not something that I use all the time, but it's quite handy sometimes as well. The next application that I have on the list is this Gemini. I don't have it installed, but let me show it to you real quick in Setapp. I'm just going to search here for Gemini, and it's the first application that is shown. You can read the description here. Duplicate files. Let me tell you a quick story. My wife takes pictures, and she had hundreds, if not thousands, of duplicate files stored in different folders, and it would have been a pain for me to clean that up. So I just ran Gemini. It detected the files, deleted the duplicates. So if you have a lot of pictures, that could be a useful option as well. Remember, the application comes in Setapp as well. Cleanmymac is another application that I run from time to time, basically just to keep my computer clean. Yeah, I know it's a very controversial app. A lot of people hate it. I find it quite useful sometimes. And the best thing is that you don't have to pay for it, but it already comes with the Setapp subscription. In case you don't know what this application is, let me show it to you real quick. I'm gonna go to my menu bar here. Here is cleanmymac. I'm just gonna click on it real quick. It's gonna bring it up. Notice that it shows you the health, protected. What else? Not relevant information shown here. I don't care about any of this. If I open, what I use it the most for is just to do cleanups and uninstall applications. Basically, that's it. What else do we have here? This is another application that I found really useful, steermouse. I'm using a magic mouse right now, but before this, I was using an MX vertical mouse, and I needed to have the ability to take screenshots with the button that is on top of the MX vertical mouse. MX vertical mouse. Let's look for it real quick. If I go to images here, notice that it has a button on the top. So I was able to configure that with this application, steermouse. This application, you can use it for a few days for free, and then you have to pay for it, if I remember correctly. But it's useful in case that you're in that specific scenario. The next application that I have here is Boom 3D. It's in Setapp as well. I don't have it installed, but let me show it to you real quick. It's this one, the one shown here on the first result. Basically, it's a system-wide equalizer. So if you install it, you set your EQ settings the way that you want them. And this is going to work regardless of the application that you're using. If you're using Spotify, YouTube, doesn't matter. If you have a nice pair of headphones and you don't have a physical EQ, this could work. A pretty nice application, to be honest. I just don't want to have it installed at the moment, but it works quite well. And the last application that I have here on the list is clearvpn. That one is available for the phone. Let me search for it here. Clearvpn. It comes with Setapp, so in case that you don't pay for a VPN service, you can try this one out. It's not the best one, but it gets the job done if you don't want to pay for something additional. I used it on my phone for a few days. I have never installed it on my computer, and I don't use it anymore. But the few days that I did use it was actually quite useful. So those are all the applications that I use. I do understand that some people is not going to like the video because it has a lot of paid applications. I have searched for alternatives and I just like the paid applications better, if I'm being honest. If you have recommendations for the applications that I showed in the video that are free, please let me know in the comments and I will check them out. Also, if there is any other applications that you would recommend, let me know down in the comments as well. Remember that my workflow is mainly terminal based and is very keyboard centric. So if there's applications that can help with that, please let me know in the comments. Before I let you go, I just want to thank the supporters. I have all of them listed here. Notice that I have the Ko-fi one-time donations as well. So I just wanted to say thanks to each one of you. I really appreciate the support. If you want to support the channel and if you want to donate, I'm going to leave the link for my Ko-fi page in the video description. Also, if you want to join Discord and you just want to chat and you want to discuss different stuff, we have over 130 members, I think, as of now. I'm going to leave the link in the video description as well. Remember that if you want to support the channel, you can use both the affiliate links that I'm going to leave for Setapp and also the one for 1Password. It would mean a lot. I want to see how this video performs. If you want me to create another video with only free applications or something like that, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, subscribe. Hope this video was useful and I'll see you in the next one.